Hi, my name is Mikayla Kerzman, and for a part of my 100 points project, I chose to do a 20 points task, specifically 20 point task A. This asks you to create a tutorial or a presentation or video explaining an activity or practice that teachers can use to support K through 8 literacy. So the topic that I have chosen today is choral reading. Choral reading is a literacy technique that helps students build their fluency, self-confidence, and motivation in reading. Choral reading is done when a student or a group of students reads a passage together with or without a teacher. Choral reading can be done individually, in groups, or a whole class together. Choral reading is, to give you an example, is when a teacher and class read a passage together. This minimizes struggling readers' public exposure. This is a great substitute to round robin or popcorn reading because it can be really embarrassing if you are a struggling reader to sit there and have all of your peers watch you as you struggle through a sentence, especially if you have undiagnosed dyslexia or a stutter. And this can really turn off a lot of students to reading because they've had that negative experience and they no longer want to do it. So this is a fantastic way to make sure that that doesn't happen. Other benefits is it provides a model of fluency. If you have a student who is struggling to understand how fast or how slow to read, or they're just blowing through those commas, not taking pauses, this is a great way to show them an example of fluency as the teacher and as their peers. They can watch their peers as well. And in a 2011 study by David Page, which used over 100 sixth graders, Page found that 16 minutes of whole class choral reading per week enhanced decoding and fluency. Another benefit is an improved sight word recognition. Not all words are easily decoded. There are some words that students need to memorize so that they can just recognize it at sight. For example, irregular words that are difficult to sound out, such as there, was, said, come. Those words don't necessarily follow the rules that we've implemented in the English language, which can be kind of difficult to navigate. So those are some of those words that students need to be able to just recognize at sight, and this is a great way to introduce those to them. Another example is words that are governed by more complex spelling that students haven't yet learned but we're going to run into, such as eat and boy, and longer, more complex words that are of high interest to the learner. It's so important that we allow students to read what they want to read and what they're interested in reading. And they might run into words like Spider-Man, Darth Vader, Hannah Montana, that they haven't yet been able to have the knowledge of how to decode, but they want to read about. So we have to give them that ability to recognize those words at sight so that they can read through the text. So this is a great way to do so. Lastly, it allows practice and support. This is a really easy thing to implement in many areas of your classroom. You can choose, no matter what you're learning about, you can choose a text to go along with that topic, such as Native American studies, or if you're learning about birds or plants, there's always texts out there that you can use and just practice reading and read together as a group. I know specifically Teachers Pay Teachers has a lot of scripts that you can purchase. There are a couple free ones as well, but you truly can use any text as long as it is appropriate to the grade level and the reading level and is of interest to the students. Choral reading is done best when each student has their own copy of the text, but can be done with one person pointing out each word as they read. This fluency strategy helps students practice reading accurately with expression. You can find out more information about choral reading at www.readingrocket.org/strategies/choral reading. This is where I found a lot of my information and I found it incredibly helpful. They also have a lot of videos if you're interested in seeing examples of choral reading in action. So I hope you learned a little bit about choral reading today. Thank you for listening.